Have you ever found yourself caught in the current of an overwhelming emotion, reacting like a boat without a rudder to the slightest wave of provocation or frustration? That knot in your stomach, the thoughtless word that escapes, the hasty decision that leaves a trail of regret. Now imagine a serene ocean within you, where every external storm meets an unshakable calm. What if I told you that this mastery is not a gift, but a skill you can build step by step, transforming your impulsivity into a fortress of personal power? For centuries, the wise Seneca, in his letters to Lucilius, warned us of a timeless truth. It is not that we have a short time, but that we waste much of it. And today, this loss goes far beyond the hours that slip through our fingers. It manifests in the energy that drains away, in relationships that fray, and, above all, in the sovereignty over ourselves that we surrender. We live in an era of constant triggers, a digital stage where immediate reaction is the most valued currency. With every vibrating notification, every biting comment, every unforeseen challenge, we are dragged into the arena of impulsive response, giving up our inner sanctuary. This cycle not only exhausts us, but traps us in a cage of regret and frustration, undermining the very essence of a life guided by purpose and peace. But there is an ancient philosophy, Stoicism, that offers us not a map to avoid storms, but a compass to navigate through them with dignity and serenity. It teaches us that true power lies not in controlling the external world, but in governing our own inner kingdom. In this video, I will unveil the 5 Stoic pillars that, if incorporated into your life, will pull you out of survival mode and elevate you as a master of your own mind, capable of responding to any situation with calculated calm and unshakable personal power. If this vision of inner mastery resonates with the soul you seek to awaken, if you are ready to break free from the shackles of reactivity and claim the throne of your own existence, comment "Control" below. It is your declaration that the era of reaction is over and that of sovereignty begins. Do you see the world through a lens blurred by your own fears and expectations? Or can you see reality raw and unfiltered? Your perception is not just a window. It is the architect of your reality and, by extension, the root of every one of your reactions. Many of us erect invisible walls around our minds, believing that external events are intrinsically good or bad. You might think an unanswered message is a personal slight, or that a small mistake at work is a certificate of incompetence. This inclination to color every fact with the brush of tragedy or euphoria turns us into puppets of circumstance. We transform a simple delay into a personal catastrophe, or constructive criticism into a frontal attack. By doing so, you hand over the keys to your emotional state to chance. You allow the initial, automatic interpretation of an event to dictate your response, draining your energy and robbing you of your personal power before you even realize it. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor who ruled Rome and himself, wrote in his Meditations, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Imagine a man at the apex of an empire, with the weight of the world on his shoulders, yet who found serenity in understanding that external chaos did not need to invade his inner temple. The Stoics understood that reality is neutral. It is our mind, with its filters and biases, that assigns meaning. And if the mind assigns, it can also retract or reinterpret. Your perception is the only domain where you are an absolute monarch. Here's how you can begin practicing this alchemy of perception today. Adopt the deliberate pause. When an external event triggers a strong emotion, be it irritation, fear, or euphoria, Do not react immediately. Create a microsecond of mental silence. In that lapse, ask yourself, is this event truly a disaster, miracle, or is it just a neutral fact to which I am attaching an emotional label? For example, if your boss gives you feedback that sounds like criticism, instead of recoiling or counterattacking, pause, reframe. Is this an opportunity to sharpen my skills? If traffic stops, instead of banging on the steering wheel, breathe. Is this an invitation to listen to a podcast, plan my day, or simply practice patience? The goal is not to deny the emotion, but to disassociate it from the cause your mind has attributed. By creating this space between the stimulus and your interpretation, you regain control, consciously choosing how to see and, more importantly, how to respond to the world. You become the editor of your own story. When you master the art of reinterpreting your perception, you become an unshakable rock amidst the turbulent sea of circumstances. The small daily disturbances lose their power to destabilize you. You cease to be a mere spectator of your life and become the director, choosing the lens through which each scene is filmed. This mastery is the fundamental cornerstone for inner peace and for personal power that emanates from a free mind. Have you ever found yourself exhausted trying to push a river uphill, fighting against what is already established or what is fundamentally beyond your reach? Acceptance is not weakness. It is the strategic intelligence that liberates your energy. The most common and perhaps most draining is to wage an incessant war, tilting at the windmills of reality. You consume yourself by dwelling on an unchangeable past, projecting paralyzing anxieties onto an uncertain future, or exhausting yourself trying to mold people and situations that by their very nature resist your control.
Imagine trying to hold sand in an open hand. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. This behavior not only drains your vitality, but also ignites the flame of chronic anxiety, plunging you into a state of perpetual battle against life itself. The result is impulsive reactions of despair, outbursts of anger, or an apathetic resignation that pulls you away from your purpose. Epictetus, the slave who became one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, gifted us a liberating truth in his Enchiridion. Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens happen the way it happens. Then you will be happy. He who was born without physical freedom found supreme freedom in the mind. Stoic wisdom lies in the clarity of the dichotomy of control, ruthlessly distinguishing what is within our power, our choices, our judgments, our actions, from what is not, the weather, others' opinions, past events, the uncertain future. Accepting the inevitable is not an invitation to passivity or defeat, but an act of sovereignty. It is redirecting the flow of your energy from fruitless resistance to effective action within your sphere of influence. To embody the wisdom of surrender today, practice amor fati, the love of fate. When faced with a situation beyond your control, instead of lamenting or rebelling, try to see it as an essential element, perhaps even a master in disguise, on your path. Ask yourself, given that this is, how can I use this to my advantage? Or what vital lesson can I extract from this? For example, if a crucial project is canceled, instead of sinking into frustration, accept the new reality and focus on how to pivot, on what new doors this change might open. Another powerful technique is negative visualization. Set aside a few minutes to mentally visualize the loss of something you deeply value. Your health, a relationship, your job. Not to become pessimistic, but to appreciate what you have now and to emotionally prepare yourself for adversities, cushioning the shock and impulsive reaction when they inevitably arise. When you embrace the inevitable, you free yourself from the chains of anxiety and chronic frustration. Your energy, once dissipated in lost battles against what cannot be changed, is channeled into the few things you can truly influence. This intelligent surrender is not an act of giving up, but the foundation upon which you will build unshakable inner peace and personal power that does not bend to circumstances. Are your emotions like a turbulent sea dictating the course of your ship? Or are they merely messengers you listen to and, with wisdom, decide how to respond? Mastery over your passions defines the scope of your power. The most insidious mistake is to allow the impetuous tides of emotions like anger, fear, frustration, or even uncontrolled euphoria to take the helm of your actions and words.
You find yourself reacting impulsively to a provocation, hurling thoughtless words that wound, or making rash decisions that, in retrospect, leave a bitter taste of regret. This surrender to the emotional maelstrom not only damages your most precious relationships and tarnishes your reputation, but more cruelly erodes your inner peace, leaving you at the mercy of every slightest internal turbulence. You become a hostage to your own biology, unable to choose your response, only to react. Seneca, with his eloquence and depth, bequeathed us the maxim, "The greatest power is to be master of oneself." For the Stoics, passions, a term they used to describe extreme and irrational emotions, were not mere feelings, but mistaken judgments that led us to disproportionate and harmful reactions. They did not preach the suppression or denial of emotions, after all, we are human, but rather their conscious recognition and the application of reason to moderate them, transforming them from tyrants into informants. A Stoic is not apathetic, they are deliberate. They feel, but they do not get carried away. To cultivate this emotional self-control today, practice strategic breathing. When you feel the wave of an intense emotion beginning to swell, be it the irritation of a long queue, the fear of a presentation, or the euphoria of a victory, do not dive headfirst. Stop. Breathe deeply, counting to 4 on the inhale, holding for 4, and exhaling for 4. Repeat 3 times. In that brief instant, you build a bridge between the stimulus and your response. Ask yourself, is this emotion an authentic reflection of reality, or is it being inflamed by a distorted judgment or an old memory? Instead of reacting, choose how to respond. For example, if someone offends you, instead of retaliating in kind, pause. Consider the source of the offense, the person's possible pain, or simply the irrelevance of the attack to your dignity. Another exercise is mental rehearsal. Imagine yourself facing situations that typically unnerve you, a heated discussion, a tight deadline. Visualize yourself responding with calm, clarity, and rationality. This mental practice is a rehearsal, preparing your mind for mastery when real emotions arise, allowing you to respond with intention, not from conditioned reflex. When you cultivate emotional self-control, you gain the freedom to choose your responses, instead of being swept away by reactions. Your emotions cease to be tyrannical masters and become valuable messengers, informing you without dominating you. This invaluable skill strengthens your inner authority, elevates your reputation, and builds unshakable resilience in any situation, transforming internal chaos into a source of power. If you are feeling the call to master your emotions and no longer be a slave to them, drop this affirmation in the comments. I am the master of my now. Do you act with a non-negotiable inner compass, even when the darkness of solitude envelops you? Or are your choices shaped by the external light of others' approval?
Your integrity is the true foundation of your personal power. The most treacherous mistake is to yield to the temptation of moral shortcuts, seek external validation at all costs, or succumb to pressure to act in ways that, deep down, betray your own values. You might find yourself justifying small omissions, avoiding uncomfortable responsibilities, or pursuing temporary gains that silently erode your self-confidence and disturb your peace of mind. Think of a subtle crack in a foundation. It might seem insignificant at first, but over time it compromises the entire structure. This disconnection between what you preach and what you practice not only generates guilt and regret, but traps you in a feeling that your worth and personal power are always at the mercy of external factors and the fickle opinions of others. Marcus Aurelius, in one of his most lucid moments, urged us, "What isn't good for the beehive isn't good for the bee." For the Stoics, the cardinal virtues, wisdom, the ability to discern what is truly good and bad, courage, the strength to face fear and adversity with principles, justice, treating everyone with fairness and respect, and temperance, self-control and moderation in all things, were not mere abstract concepts, but the very essence of good. They represent the only true good, the non-negotiable foundation for a full life, and for building a character so robust that no external storm can shake it. Virtue is not an option. It is the path to true freedom. To build this foundation of unshakable character today, adopt the mirror test. Before making any decision, big or small, stop and imagine you are looking at yourself in the mirror. Ask yourself, if I act this way, will I be able to look at myself with pride tomorrow? Does this action reflect wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance? For example, if you are tempted to participate in malicious gossip, ask if it is just or temperate. If facing a challenge that requires you to take a stand, ask if you are acting with courage or succumbing to conformity. Prioritize personal integrity in all decisions, even when no one is watching, for it is in these moments that your true character is forged. Daily, set aside time for honest reflection on your actions, identifying where you could have acted more virtuously and where you honored your principles. This constant practice of virtue is a training for the soul, strengthening your inner power and your ability to respond with an unshakable ethic. When you practice virtue above all else, you achieve a peace of mind that cannot be bought or sold. Your reputation becomes a beacon of trust, your character an impenetrable fortress, and your actions will always be aligned with your highest principles. You will build personal power that does not depend on others' approval, but on your own integrity, becoming a benchmark of authenticity and moral strength. Do you spend your days in an eternal search for what is missing, or are your eyes open to the abundant richness that already surrounds you? Gratitude is not a feeling. It is the magic lens that transforms what you have into more than enough. The most common, and perhaps most subtly destructive, is the incessant pursuit of the next big thing, the next luxury item, the next level of status, the perfect relationship, the achievement that will finally bring happiness. You find yourself trapped in a vicious cycle of comparison, feeling eternally inadequate, or believing that true happiness is always one step ahead, on the distant horizon. This scarcity mindset, this constant devaluation of the present, not only generates chronic anxiety and frustration, but also prevents you from finding peace and contentment in the now. It's like having a lush garden and spending your life lamenting the absence of a single rare flower. This can lead to impulsive reactions of envy, despair, or a frantic search for external validation. Seneca, in his Letters to Lucilius, offered us a powerful antidote to this modern ailment. The Stoics were not ascetics who denied pleasure, but masters in the art of appreciation. They practiced gratitude for what they had, and the valuing of the present moment as the most effective antidote to dissatisfaction. They understood that true wealth does not lie in the quantity of possessions we accumulate, but in the ability to be content with what life offers, freeing us from the tyranny of incessant desires and the illusion that happiness is always out there. To cultivate the treasure of gratitude and appreciation today, start a morning ritual. Every morning, before reaching for your phone, set aside 3 minutes to mentally list, or in a journal, 3 things for which you are genuinely grateful, no matter how small they seem. It could be the warmth of your blanket, the taste of your coffee, a ray of sunlight on the window, the simple ability to breathe. The secret is to feel the gratitude, not just think about it. Another transformative exercise is negative visualization. For a brief moment, imagine that you have lost something you deeply value: your sight, your ability to walk, a loved one. Feel the emptiness of that loss. Then, return to reality and feel profound appreciation for still possessing them. This impactful practice recalibrates your perspective, transforming "I need more" into "I already have enough." Celebrate the small victories, the moments of tranquility, the ephemeral beauty of the day. Train your mind to focus on the abundance present in your life instead of perceived scarcity, and you will discover that happiness is not a destination but a way of traveling. When you cultivate gratitude and appreciation, your mind becomes a resilient and content garden, immune to the weeds of dissatisfaction. You will find peace and joy in current circumstances, no matter how challenging they are, and will build personal power that flourishes in acceptance and the valuing of what truly matters. Your life will transform from an incessant search into a continuous celebration. We have reached the turning point of our journey, not the end, but the true beginning of your power. We revisited the pillars that unveil the essence of Stoic mastery. We learned that mastering your perception is the shield that protects you from external chaos, a filter that transforms adversity into opportunity. We understood the wisdom of surrender, accepting the inevitable to free up energy that once drained away in lost battles, transforming frustration into peace. We cultivated mastery over the inner storm, becoming masters of our emotions, not their slaves. We saw the non-negotiable importance of practicing virtue above all else, building a character that is the fortress of your integrity. And finally, we anchored our minds in the forgotten treasure of the present, cultivating gratitude and appreciation that transform enough into abundance. You are no longer the boat adrift, at the mercy of every emotional current or superficial provocation. You are no longer a hostage to circumstances or your volatile emotions. The person you are becoming is one who chooses, who ponders, who acts with purpose and serenity. Someone who builds their personal power from within, an unshakable flame that shines brighter with every external storm. This is the promise and the essence of Stoicism, the freedom to be the ruler of your own kingdom, the captain of your own soul. It is not a path that promises an absence of challenges, but one that guarantees the presence of an inexhaustible inner strength to face them. It is the path to a life of profound meaning, unbreakable resilience, and true, lasting peace. If this video has ignited a new flame within you, if it has helped you envision a new path to personal mastery, please like this content. Your like is a sign that this message resonates and deserves to reach more souls thirsty for control and serenity. Comment below which of the 5 pillars resonated most with you, or share your own journey and how Stoicism has transformed your life. Your words could be the inspiration someone else needs. Share this video with someone you know is trapped in the cycle of impulsive reaction, someone who needs a gentle yet firm nudge towards control. And to continue this journey of self-discovery and continuous growth, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Together, let's build a community of individuals who choose to respond with calm and thus build unshakable personal power, an inner empire that no external force can overthrow. Remember, control begins where reaction ends. Your freedom is your choice.